welcome to this episode of Experts on Purpose. The special guest we have today is Dr. Elena Paweta. Dr. Elena is an executive communication and TEDx coach. She is helping busy entrepreneurs with ideas worth spreading to get on TEDx stage and prepare their dream talk. Elena has been organizing TEDx events for the last 7 years. She is also an assistant professor at the Warsaw School of Economics, specializing in international business, startup development, and entrepreneurship. Hi, Dr. Elena. Welcome to Experts on Purpose.
Hi, Jyotsna. Great to be here.
So good to have you on my show. I have been curious to know, how did you, or rather, when did you discover that communication is your super skill?
Well, I would say communication was not always my super skill. I love education and I love communication, and but for some time I was kind of limiting myself a little bit in those areas. I was a bit shy, a bit introvert, and then I started going out of my comfort zone a little bit. I joined Toastmasters Club, and I got myself enrolled into the PhD program. So I started lecturing a little bit, working with students. Then I started doing corporate trainings, and every next step I took was a little bit overwhelming. But I think that after all those years of developing myself, I cannot still say that I am super confident and that I am an amazing speaker with no limits. And this is what I teach my clients all the time, that communication and public speaking, it is a work in progress, and you can never go from point A to point B, and that's it. You need to practice it all the time. And this is why I do what I do.
That's so good to know, because I thought that you were always, a confident speaker, but it's nice to know that you were also shy once upon a time. But what really motivated you to develop this skill? You said that you invested your time and effort in going to Toastmasters, giving all these presentations. So did you recognize that this is one skill that you needed to develop consciously?
Yes, absolutely. At some point, I recognized that I need this skill to advance in my career. Mm-hmm. And I think that it was a moment when I started my PhD studies and I started working with people. I started giving some workshops, giving some lectures, and I realized that I'm a little bit scared of public speaking. And I started looking for solutions. And this is what I came up with, is the Toastmasters Club, but this was only one of the ways that I developed myself. I also took part in a contest, 3-minute thesis, where I had to present my PhD thesis in 3 minutes, which is super challenging. And I was so much out of my comfort zone because it was recorded, it was on video, there were a lot of business people in the room, and every time I did something new, I was a little bit overwhelmed at every step that I did. But now everything I do is so much easier. So I often give interviews. I'm on podcasts, I give interviews, I'm on TV and on radio, and I don't feel that I have to limit myself, that something that I will say, it will not be correct. Maybe I will speak a little bit slower than fast speakers. Maybe I will say I'm not a native speaker. English is my second language. So I would say maybe before, about 7 or 8 years before, I would think about all those things and I would, feel overwhelmed and, oh my God, I was perfectionist. But now I realize that no, this is a work in progress, and every interview I give, every speech I give, it is just getting better and better.
I'm so glad you shared this, because I can totally relate to this, Elena. I am also not a native English speaker. And initially when I was giving all these podcast interviews, I used to be super scared. I used to request the host to re-record the sentence because it was not perfect. But later I realized one doesn't really have to be perfect. And as you keep speaking, as you keep sharing your message, you keep getting better and better. And your listeners are more interested in your story than how perfect you are, right?
Yes, absolutely. The content and the value you share is the most important. And I'm focusing on this in my business career, in my academic career, where I'm working with people all the time. I'm working with native speakers a lot as I work globally.
Yeah.
And I don't see that anyone has problem with this, that yes, I may my accent may be different. Yes, I might make a couple of mistakes here and there. But in the end, I give value. I deliver what I have to deliver. My clients, they have the transformation they want to have. And this is all that counts.
Right. So after doing your PhD program and developing yourself as a speaker as well, at what point did you move from your traditional career to becoming a full-time speaker, coach, and all the things that you do currently?
So I, I I would say that I did not switch completely because I'm still working at the university and I have those two careers going at the same time. I love my academic career because I love being around smart people. I love attending conferences and doing all this research, writing academic articles. Um, this is something that I do as my it is my passion.
Right.
I love. And on the other hand, I have my business career. I'm a communication coach. I'm a TEDx coach, and those things, they kind of evolved from my academic career as well. And TEDx was my hobby for a very long time. Have been organizing TEDx conferences for the last 7 years. And at some point, people started asking me to coach them, to help them to get to a TEDx stage. And they said, yeah, you are a communication coach, you are a trainer, so you can train. And then you know TEDx very well from what is going on behind the scenes.
Right.
And yes, and I started doing TEDx coaching, and now I'm also helping people internationally to become TEDx speakers.
Fantastic. What about TEDx inspired you to become a curator of these events? Because it's not easy to run events, right? It's one thing to prepare and go and speak at an event, but being an organizer is a different challenge altogether. So, what made you take up that challenge?
Yes, it is a challenge. It is a challenge. You need to manage not only what is going on the stage, the speakers part, prepare, work with speakers, choose them, but you also need to manage marketing, communication, sponsors, partners, event experience, registration, and a lot of other things that are going on behind the scenes. People don't know about them and don't think about them. I really love the concept of TED. It is about ideas worth spreading. I think that now we have so much information in the world, everywhere, on social media, that we just get lost in opinions, we listen we watch TikToks and so we watch YouTube videos, and we all the time consume information, but very often there are no really valuable ideas behind this information. And TED platform provides place for valuable ideas that can change the world, that can change your life it can change you to be a better person. And I think that this is what counts, and this is why I decided to organize TEDx events in Poland 7 years ago, because I was so inspired to build up this platform and this community in Poland, because we need more of those valuable ideas, especially in this time of information overload.
Right. So after you started organizing these events, at at some point you started coaching people, right? So to the people that you coach, what are some of the tips you give to get selected on these stages? Because as an organizer, you must be having some criteria to choose the best ideas, right? So how does an organizer view these different ideas, and uh, what are some of the criteria they keep in mind before choosing a speaker?
Yeah, so the most important is not a speaker for us as curators. The most important is an idea.
Right.
So what we do is we do not choose the best speakers. Very often people think that if they present themselves as professional speaker, as a podcaster or lecturer or someone who is confident in speaking, then we would want them on our stage. But this is not necessarily what we're looking for. So what we're looking for is an interesting idea that will be relevant for your local community where you want to speak. And it should be something new and something interesting, not necessarily something that you read in a book or a newspaper, but something
Original.
that is new, and also you should be credible in this. Because this is a very important moment, that if, for example, you are doing the publishing, you have the publishing services and you help authors to get published. And for example, if you're having this business and having this experience, you would apply for a TEDx event and you would say that I want to speak about, I don't know, medicine or something that is interesting for you, or energy. But you just read a book and you think that it is such an interesting topic to speak about. For example, I recently read a book by Bill Gates, How to Change the World. I was so inspired. It is about climate change. I learned a lot from it, and I could easily give a talk based on this book, right?
Yeah.
But this is not what we are looking for. We're looking for a person who is credible, who has experience in what they are going to speak about. And it should be something new. So again, if an expert in energy, for example, would come to our event and would want to speak about the content of Bill Gates' book, then we would say maybe, oh, this is not new, it was already published before. Right. So yeah, the most important things are new idea, interesting for the local audience, relevant for the local audience, and also you should be credible doing this. And when I'm working with my clients, these are the basic steps that we go through to make sure that their idea is ready, and only after some time we start applying for the events.
Yeah, I think I have been on 2 TEDx stages, but what I did not know, and I learned from you right now, is how the idea needs to be relevant to the local community. I never thought about it from that point of view, but now it makes total sense, because that's how TEDx events, that's why they were created for, right? Because there is this big TED stage out there, but they allowed to create TEDx events so that it becomes more relevant for the local audience. Am I right?
Yes, they created TEDx initiative as those local initiatives. They added this X to TED letters. And first, it was, so it is usually TEDx events, they are the same as TED events. They have certain requirements, how stage should look like, how speeches should look like. That's why when we're watching those YouTube videos, more or less, it looks the same. But every community, every local community all over the world has its own specific needs, has its own issues, political issues, social issues, and we always try to address what is going on right now in our community, what our local community needs the most.
Right. So do you also help your clients to make their pitch to these events and choose the right topics and all of that?
Yes, absolutely. So we are first choosing the idea. If they have several ideas, if they are not sure yet, or sometimes when they have the idea, it turns out that maybe it is not so relevant, and we change it a little bit. And then we are preparing the speech. We are preparing the pitch to the application letters for organizers. We're choosing the events, and also we are preparing the whole speech and practicing it. So depending on the level of service, on the package that clients choose, there are also some done for you elements. So sometimes I'm helping my clients with with speech writing and with preparing the communication with the events. So I'm helping them all the way. Sometimes my clients, they want to apply also to a big TED events. I also have such ambitious clients, but those who work on it, they always get accepted. So it is, if you know what TEDx curators really want, what they're looking for, then it is easy to find an event for you.
Amazing. So let's assume that a person has been selected by one of these events. Could you tell a few pointers on how to prepare their speech? Generally speaking, at a seminar is one thing, but getting an opportunity on a TEDx platform and preparing for that is another level altogether. So what are some of the things that the speaker should keep in mind while drafting their speech and rehearsing it?
Yeah, so I think that you should keep in mind that TEDx platform is not for purely inspirational speeches. So very often when we think about famous TED Talks, we think about stories, and we think, oh, this is the place where I can tell my story, my life story. This is not true, because stories are just a tool to convey your message. So you would want to think of what is your message? First of all, what is your main message? And this is what we need to start with. Who is in my audience, in the local audience of my TEDx events, and also to whom do I want to speak? Whom do I want to address? To young audience, to older ones, to business professionals, to women. And after we know who is in the audience and what is our main message, then we can think of the structure. Which arguments do I want to use to persuade my audience that my idea is actually worth spreading and it is worth doing what we're suggesting? So I always suggest to use several different arguments. For sure, try not to use opinions, try to use facts. There is a difference between an opinion that I heard that someone said, or something is the best, the biggest. Those are all the opinions. So we need to use facts during our TED Talk. And this is why TED platform is so credible, because they really make sure that all of their talks, they are science-based. So when you prepare something for a TEDx event, they will check it several times if the facts you're using, if this is correct, because they cannot publish something that is not proven on their platform. So you can use some scientific facts, you can use some stories, you can use statistics, several different ways how you can prove your idea. And then in the end, I always suggest to use some call to action. So you don't want to just leave them thinking of your idea, you want them to do something. And this is the difference between inspirational speech and persuasive speech. Because when we want to inspire someone, it is enough to say that, my story was sad and now I changed it because I don't know, I went out of my comfort zone and I achieved this and that, and you can do it too. And then we're inspired by someone's story and we want to do more. But for TEDx, it is not enough. We need to give them the call to action. What exactly do I need to do after this speech? And if we prove our idea, first of all, and then we give them a couple of calls to action, then for sure something will stay in your audience's mind, and this is what we want to achieve.
Yeah, well said. I always wondered, Elena, that some TEDx speeches go viral and they have millions of views, but some of them probably have just 500 or 1,000 views. So, is that because the topic was really out of the box, or did the TEDx speaker really put in a lot of effort in marketing that video and making it reach that many people?
So after your talk is published, it is up to you how many views it will get. Because TEDx, they just upload the talks, and this is the end of their work. Of course, they promote their speakers on their platforms, but usually it is limited just to the local audience.
Right.
And if you want to get more views of your talk, then this is also what I'm working on with my clients in my program. I'm helping them with marketing as well, giving them some suggestions what they can do to actually boost the promotion of their talk. And those are different kinds of marketing activities that you can do. One of the most important things is to actually craft your bio and description of your talk that you will provide for the TEDx curator. They will put it there, and the name of your talk. So it should be really well crafted in the first place. And when you have it, then just market it as much as you can, because being on TEDx stage, it can give you so much leverage in business. If you put yourself on TEDx stage, on your website, on your Instagram, all over your social media, it can never be too much of mentioning that you are a TEDx speaker, especially double TEDx speaker as yourself, Josna. So you can, speak about it everywhere. Also, when you have your newsletter and you're sending information to your clients, some insights you can mention. And by the way, here is my TED talk about this and that. Leave me a comment on YouTube. So try to use as much of a promotion of this talk as possible, because first of all, your credibility will be much higher in the eyes of your followers and clients. And on the other hand, if the talk will have more activity and more people will watch it, then more people will have it in their feed. The algorithms will see that, oh, this talk is really popular, so maybe let's show it to a bigger amount of people.
Yeah.
That's why you would want to think of a promotion, how you can boost this talk to have more views in order to have even more views in the future.
Right. I'm just loving whatever you're saying, Elena, because this is so similar to writing a book and publishing it, right? And marketing the book later. A lot of authors just upload it to Amazon and think that Amazon should promote it, and that would never happen. But the authors who really take the time and effort in promoting their book reap the benefits for years after the book is published. And it's really similar to the things that you mentioned about promoting the TEDx talk. So could you just give an example of some of the amazing things that have happened to your clients' lives after they became a TEDx speaker?
Yeah, so I'm getting really amazing testimonials from my clients, and I can see that it really helped them. So one of my clients, for example, recently he wrote to me that his talk is one of the most popular talks. We were working a couple of years ago, and now he has already over 2 million views, I think. I need to check the latest numbers, like a lot of views. And it is really, it really helps to spread the word about the business. They start getting invited to podcasts, TV interviews, radio. For example, recently, I was contacted by a Japanese editor of a journalist, TV journalist, and she asked me for details of my two of my TEDx speakers from my events that I was working with last year. And I was like, okay, so those girls, and they are young girls, about 20 years old, and they had really amazing ideas. They presented them on my stage, and now they have interviews with really big names. And this journalist from Japan, I was like, wow, this is TED platform is really doing the work, so they can boost your career from a very early age, as you don't have big network or anything like this, but you can you're just seen, because TEDx platform, TEDx Talks on YouTube, it has over 42 million followers, as I was last time I checked. So as you're on this platform, then you have so much bigger visibility overall. And especially if you're planning to start your business in the future, or you have your business now, then this is a platform where you just must be now in order to boost your credibility in business.
Absolutely. And for you, I'm sure it must be so fulfilling to see that people who had a nice message came to your stage and you've helped them to really amplify their message to such a global audience. And now they're doing so well because of that one opportunity that you managed to get for them, right?
Yes, absolutely. I just love this. I love this. And also I recently worked with a researcher, and I think that there are a lot of scientists, a lot of researchers who are doing their research somewhere in the lab, and no one knows about it. I mean, scientific world knows about it, but
the outside world,
yes, we need to not only publish our research in scientific journals, but it would be so amazing if all of those great ideas that are not heard, that, for example, some initiatives by young people, scientists, and all artists, there's so much of it everywhere, and this platform is helping to show this to the world. So I just love TEDx platform, and I'm looking forward to my next event, which I'm organizing in December. And now super excited. This is the best time for me, when I have a couple of months left, and we are planning all those details of the event.
Fantastic. Is that going to be an online event or a live one?
We are going to have it live and online. So we will have both virtual and live audiences.
Fantastic. No, what I really enjoyed about this conversation is you not just developed the skill of public speaking and keep it to yourself, but you chose to become a coach and you're helping other people. You not just watched all these amazing TEDx speeches and got inspired, but you took that action of becoming a curator yourself. So what would be your message to all those people who have that expertise within them, but they're not really owning it and helping others using that expertise?
Yeah, so my message would be just go out there and try it out. You don't have to go big immediately, because very often we are looking at those big names, big companies, coaches, those people, they are famous all over the world, and we think, oh, I will never get there, and we don't do this first step. So I think that just going out there, for example, going to a Toastmasters club with, 15 people in the room and speaking about your area of expertise, and maybe asking them for feedback, what they can suggest, expanding your network and joining some networking clubs, or getting to know new people. All of those things, if you start speaking about your topic more, whether from a TEDx stage, whether in speaking clubs, maybe speaking on podcasts, for example, applying to be a speaker on several podcasts, and just see how the audience will react, ask for feedback. And I think that just going step by step, as I did in the beginning, going slowly, step by step, it really pays off. Because now when I'm looking back at the beginning of my journey, I was like, what was I afraid of? It was nothing special, just, give a speech or organize a small event, because I did not start organizing huge events from the very beginning. First, I was doing small events for less than 100 people, and now I'm gathering huge theaters, a lot of people online and offline. So take small steps and share your expertise with other people, and get as much feedback as you can. And then step by step, you will get where you want to be.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that amazing message, Elena. So where can people find out more about you if they're curious to learn how they can work with you and things like that?
Yeah, so you can go to my website. It is elenapaweta.com, and you can have a look, and you can book the call with me. And it's free. I have those free discovery calls with people who want to work with me. There is a big button to book a call immediately on my page. So I'm really encouraging you, if you want to become a TEDx speaker, if this is what you're looking at in the future, and don't wait for the moment when you are a best-selling author, when you are the well-known international coach. Don't wait for it. Just start now, because when you become a TEDx speaker, then so many business opportunities will open in front of you. So I'm inviting you to book a call on my webpage, and hope to I will help you to be on the TEDx stage in some time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Elena. I'm going to leave all the links right below in the show notes for people to reach out to you. Thank you once again for being a part of Experts on Purpose.
Thank you. Thank you so much.